What's good, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, what it do? So let's get straight into it, y'all. I've been getting a lot of comments on my pros and cons video about being a flight attendant. I've just seen a lot of questions about, you know, reserve life and training and different bases and stuff. So I'm gonna give y'all just a little rundown. For those that are new here, y'all go ahead and subscribe if you're feeling the vibes at the end of this video. I make flight attendant content, travel vlogs, talk about my walk with God, and just different chats that'll help you reach your next level and become that girl, okay? Just a little backstory for y'all. My name is Christina. I am 24 years old. I've been a flight attendant for about 8.5 months now. I work for a low-cost mainline carrier. Do I love my job? Absolutely. Does it have its ups and downs? Absolutely. I definitely believe it's one of those industries where you don't really know if you're gonna like it until you get into it. So that's just what it is. I'll just be answering 10 frequently asked questions that I get all the time, and if I miss any of them, feel free to comment down below because I do respond to every single one of my comments. Ooh, not the Dunkin'. Starbucks who? Okay, so the first question is, how do you become a flight attendant? The answer to this one is actually very easy. You literally just apply. I know a lot of people think that you have to go to school and like get some kind of certification, but no, the pilots do all that stuff. But if you just applying for a flight attendant, you don't have to do all that extra. You literally just apply online. The main thing that they're looking for in your resume is just customer service. That's it. They're gonna teach you everything else that you need to know. And as far as having previous flight attendant experience, I've actually heard that they prefer people with no flight attendant experience because essentially they're going to be easier to train. Because let's say you hire somebody that was at a previous airline for like 10 years, they're gonna come to this new airline and be like, oh, we did it like this, we did it like that, you know, we woo woo woo. They want you to do things the exact way that they teached you and not stuff from like your previous airline. So I feel like that should give you guys some encouragement. You know, if you don't have any previous flight attendant experience, trust me, you don't need it. Question number 2, what are some minimum requirements to becoming a flight attendant? I'm gonna read a few requirements for y'all right here. Okay, you have to be 18 years old, have a passport, pass a background check and a drug test. There's no weight limit. You just have to be able to fit in a jump seat. You have to be able to lift a bag over your head. I forgot how much the bag weighed, but they're gonna ask you to like lift it over your head and they'll show you how. As far as image, you know, a lot of airlines are really big on image. You just have to be clean and neat. No super long nails, ladies. Unfortunately, your hair cannot be longer than your waist. If so, you have to put it up. Also, depending on your airline, you can't have any visible tattoos or piercings. Of course, you can have these little regular ear piercings. As far as tattoo policies, they do vary with each airline, but for the most part, they require that you cover them up. That's the main reason why I always wear pants and a sweater to work, you know, obviously because I have visible tattoos. I actually did buy a dress recently, but I just have to find some tights that are actually opaque because y'all know black tights, usually you can still see through them unless you get the winter kind, and baby, I'm not trying to cook the cookie out here too much during the summertime, so yeah, I stick with the pants for now. Number 3, what does flight attendant training look like? So each airline's training differs specifically, but for the most part, they're all structured the same, if that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, y'all are all pretty much doing the same job, so it usually lasts about 4 to 8 weeks at the training facility. And most airlines pay for the flights and accommodations required for training, but not all of them, so definitely do your research. So how it works, basically you're going to spend half the time in the classroom and the other half in the training facility getting on-hand experience. Starting off in the classroom, you're mainly going to talk about the company, the atmosphere, airport codes, military time, airline terminology, announcements, all that basic stuff. And then after that, you'll get into the different type of aircrafts that they fly, safety related things, CPR, AED, all that good stuff, security, evacuation drills, commands, woo woo woo. Sorry y'all, the sun is going down, so I'm trying to go fast as possible. But yeah, training is usually 6 days a week, about 8 to 9 hours a day across the board, and whatever time that you're not in class, you're literally studying. I'm telling y'all, non-stop studying, so don't think that this is gonna be a walk in the park. And then after all of your blood, sweat, and tears, congratulations, because you got your wings. I actually plan on doing a more in-depth video about flight attendant training, so if y'all are interested in that, just comment down below. Question number 4, how is the salary? So I believe the starting pay is about $15 to $35, just depending on your airline. Just keep in mind, y'all, this is not based on a regular 9 to 5 40-hour-a-week job. That's not how this works. If you're flying 160 hours a month as a flight attendant, that is actually very abnormal. Like, seek help. And it might not even be possible. Like, there's a cap on the number of hours you can fly each month. I'm gonna tell you that if you're starting off on the lower side, you can always choose to pick up trips, get a second job that's flexible, or just invest in a side business. Also, you get raises every 6 months to a year, and once you hold a line, your pay does increase significantly. So that's something to keep in mind. Question number 5, what does a typical schedule look like? You're always gonna get your schedule for the entire month. And there's 2 different types of schedules. You're either on reserve or you're a line holder. If you're on reserve, then you have no control over your schedule. You basically can just bid for what days you want to be available. And those days you'll either be on call, on standby at the airport, or you'll be assigned a trip. So I'll give y'all an example. I'm currently on reserve, and I usually like to bid 6 days on and 4 days off. So in my 6-day period, let's say day 1, I'm just on call, which means I can chill at home, I can go run some errands, whatever. If they call me, then I have 2 hours to get to the airport and work the trip. If not, I just stay home. Day 2, I'll sit standby at the airport, which means I have my uniform on, ready to go. My luggage is all packed. Let's say a flight attendant calls out, you know, last minute, then you're automatically going to be assigned to work that trip. And you usually sit between 5 to 8 hours depending on your airline. If they don't use you, just go back home. And then let's say for day 3, they actually put a trip on my schedule, which is a 4-day. So we had day 1 on call, day 2 sitting standby, and then day 3 you end up getting a 4-day trip, and then boom, you're off for 4 days. Now let's talk about a line holder schedule. Why does everybody want to get a line so bad? It's because you know exactly when and where you're flying to the entire month. You don't sit standby at the airport, you're not on call. You know, like, hey, August 21st, it looks like I'll be in Puerto Rico for 48 hours. Your quality of life just becomes so much better because you actually have control over your schedule. You can also drop a trip, swap a trip, add a trip, and it's just overall easier for commuting flight attendants, you know, if you don't live in base. Flight attendants usually fly between 70 to like 125, 130 hours a month. But on reserve, you're always paid a minimum. So I know at my airline, we get paid a minimum of 72 hours, even if we don't fly 72 hours, because sometimes you have a little bit slower months where you might not make it to 72, but you'll still get paid for 72. And then anything after 85 would be considered overtime. All right, so question number 6, do airlines pay for your hotels? And what about for commuters? Accommodations are 100% paid for by the airline when you're working, you guys. You'll never have to come out of your wallet when you're working. The hotels are usually close to the airport or like downtown, you know, depending on your airline. Remember, you guys, flight attendants basically live out of hotels, so the quality is very important to us. All we ask for is microwaves in the room and free breakfast, period. As for commuters, do airlines usually pay for those hotels? Usually not. If you're a commuter, that means you do not live in your base. So for example, I currently live in Houston, but I'm based in Dallas, so I have to commute into Dallas to work. Airlines typically don't recommend or condone that people commute to work, you know, because it's just so many things that could happen. But I mean, let's be practical. Everybody's not going to live in their base. If commuters don't stay in hotels, then they'll most likely get a crash pad, which I'll go into later. At the end of the day, you just got to weigh out what makes more sense financially. You know, should you just be getting a few hotels a month, or should you go ahead and invest in a crash pad? It depends on how long you're gonna spend in base, basically. All right, y'all, number 7, how to deal with difficult passengers. Contrary to very popular belief, okay, I do not deal with difficult passengers that often. The way that I approach it is all in the way that you talk to people. When people first come on a plane, I usually like to set the mood. Okay, I'm smiling, hi, welcome aboard. I just want to make them feel as welcomed as possible, because flying is very stressful for a lot of people, especially in these times. Y'all already know. You gotta think, like, from the time these people arrive at the airport, they have to go through the ticket counter, the gate agent, and they may be upset at something that happened. You know, they might have to end up paying for a bag. They might be overweight and they didn't know it, or this happened, that happened. So they're pissed off in general by the time they get on the aircraft, and of course the flight attendants are going to take all the heat for that. So I try not to add to that and be super combative. Like, I'm not going to go back and forth and escalate the situation. I try to actively listen to their frustrations and reason with them. And if it's not working out, or if it's getting disrespectful, then all you have to do is let the lead flight attendant know. He'll let the captain know, and if the person needs to be removed, then they'll be removed. But yeah, the advice that I have for that is just don't get in your feelings, don't get super combative, because they're probably really just pissed off about something else. All right, y'all, question number 8, is there time to explore on layovers? You guys, layover times vary because you're never going to get the same trip. Okay, so one night you might be on minimum 8 to 9 hours, and then the next night you'll have like 48 hours somewhere. Like, you never know. And usually your layovers get a lot longer once you hold a line. So once again, a line is green. A line is what you want. Let me give y'all an example. Like for my birthday, I was actually working, but by the grace of God, I ended up getting 18 hours in New York. We ended up landing early in the morning, you know, so that gave me plenty time to take a nap, wake up, get cute. Took the train down to Times Square, went to a rooftop bar. Like, it was a lot of fun. I had plenty of time. So that's why I say, like, you never know how long your layover is gonna be, but don't listen to people that be like, oh, they don't get to explore, because that's definitely not true. Okay, so question number 9, is it a lonely job? Honestly, I'm gonna say it depends on your personality. You know, do you constantly need to be around your friends, your family, your boo, or are you usually like cool riding solo? And a lot of people find this out during training. You know, it's usually the first time that people are away from like their family and friends for a really long time, because 9 times out of 10 it's going to be in a different city that you're not living in. So, you know, a lot of people, they get extremely homesick. Hold on, y'all, my camera died, but I got an extra battery. But yeah, usually only hit me on the holidays. You know, everybody at home, they having greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes. But I think typically people like to go out and hang with their crew on the holidays, so that helps a lot. And also remember, once you hold a line, you don't have to worry about working holidays. So line, keep that in mind. All right, y'all, number 10, my final question. What is your favorite layover? Thought you never asked. My favorite layover currently is probably Fort Lauderdale or anywhere close to the beach, for real. I take that back. I don't really like LAX because I realized like it's always cool over there. Like, it be cool outside, especially at night. The water be cold. Like, I don't really like that too much. I like staying on, wait, is it the east or west coast? Hold on, child, let me look it up. Yeah, I typically like to stay on the east coast because it's warm. Like, I don't like the west coast. It'd be a little too chilly for me. But yeah, Fort Lauderdale, we stay really close to the beach. I also heard that our Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, I heard that layover is really nice, but I haven't laid over there yet, so hopefully soon. And then the other layovers that I like is usually because of the hotel. You know, they're super nice, or just the location of the hotel. Some of them we stay right downtown, some by the airport. It just depends. Usually we don't get a lot of international trips out of my base in Dallas. That's usually more so like Fort Lauderdale and Miami. But remember, you can always utilize your benefits and go wherever you want to go on your off days. But alright, y'all, that's all I have for this video. Hopefully I answered some of your questions pertaining to being a flight attendant, and if I did not, please comment down below, because like I said, I respond to every single comment, you guys. But yeah, other than that, I love y'all so much, and I'll see y'all next week.